News.
Fair Maps, Illinois, trying again to ban gerrymandering in our state. Good Thursday evening. I'm Tyler Lopez. It is our top story tonight. Bill Daley and Ray LaHood launching a bipartisan effort hoping to pass a state constitutional amendment in advance of the map-making process next year. The goal is to end gerrymandering when politicians create and change electoral district boundaries. LaHood says politicians are creating their district maps in their favor, and this splits up neighborhoods in an unfair way. He calls it a threat to democracy.
The other part of it is splitting up neighborhoods, splitting up counties, splitting up cities, and drawing the maps for their own political gain. And we want to change that in Illinois.
Fair Maps now has until May of 2026 to get 450,000 signatures to qualify for the general election ballot that year. And if they're successful, voters would decide in November. We also reached out to our federal lawmakers. Representative and Republican Darren LaHood supports Fair Maps for both state and federal districts. Congressman and Democrat Eric Sorensen was traveling today and unable to offer a comment.